Okay, today we're going to talk about neuroplasticity. When you have a stroke, it affects your brain. Some of the nerves in your brain die or really deteriorate. Neuroplasticity means other parts of your brain compensate for the part that was lost. And the way that you enact this is with repetition. If you start to force yourself to play solitaire, use your mind. You're using your mind. You're going to play solitaire. You're going to keep moving cards and you're going to keep figuring out what goes where. Or you're going to exercise your arms. If you've been stricken with one arm that is not getting the feeling it should, you're going to take the other arm and you're going to move it. Now, this is for people who didn't get rehab. You're going to try and do everything you can to help you. And by doing this with this hand on this arm, you move it. And eventually, the brain helps it to move. And you can do it with legs. You can do it with hands. I'm not going to say that it works every time, but it worked for me. Okay, this is what I am going to say. It worked for me. I depended a lot on neuroplasticity to get my balance back, to get my feet. I was walking left into walls. I depended on making my hands push my face and look this way and walk away from the wall. I didn't have professional rehabilitation. I was not stricken as badly as others. So these are the things that I did from nursing that I knew could probably help, and they did. I then reached out to rehab specialists who sent me videos and helped me that way. This is a really important thing to know about your brain. But I exercised my brain every way I could think. I got on the computer, I played solitaire. I played freestyle. I did puzzles. I did anything I could to challenge my brain every single day. Because I needed that neuroplasticity. I didn't want to just sit and just stare at a TV and watch my brain just not do anything. So I knew that it was really important that I do that. I had a little regime that I had made. When you first come home from a stroke, you're tired. Your body is tired. You need to sleep. When you feel sleepy, you need to sleep. So I would have breakfast. I would get in my recliner and I would relax and take a little morning nap. It might have been 20 minutes, it might have been a half an hour. But I did take a nap. And then I'd get up and go to my computer and I would play solitaire or puzzles. I'd do a couple, two or three. Then I'd get up and try to do some rehab, physical rehab, walk backwards a couple of times. Then I would sit down in my chair and I would reach my feet. I would lift my feet and do exercises in my chair. Then I'd lean back and close my eyes, and if I wanted to nap for another 20 minutes, I would. I made this regime so that I could take care of me. I knew I needed the exercise. I didn't want to just sit in my chair and let sarcopenia set in or, not let myself be rehabilitated. This was really important. I also got up and went in my kitchen, and I had a big island in my kitchen, and I used that island to walk around and hold on to the island and fix myself some lunch. And I experimented with putting different things together for lunch, like my famous tuna fish salad, and I made frittatas, and I made different salads with baby spinach, and I created things. I got creative. I put different spices and different herbs and different whole food together and the most important thing was I didn't fry anything. If I wanted something fried, I put olive oil in a baking pan and I baked it. And you get the same results, but without frying. And I took all of this and I put it together and I said, this is going to help me. So I made this part of my daily routine. After lunch, I would then go in the living room and sit down a little bit and see if I felt tired. If I did, I took a 20-minute nap. If not, I'd have my husband take me to retail therapy. I did my retail therapy. I got a shopping cart and walked up and down every aisle in that store 3 or 4 times. While I was there, picked up any Whole Foods that I would need for the next meal or my next day. And this became my routine. I did this for 3 months. I came home the 23rd of June, and I did this for 3 months. So September, I was doing great. September, I didn't need a walker. I didn't need a cane. I was able to do everything on my own. However, I couldn't walk fast. I remember I went out for dinner with my granddaughter. It was her birthday, and we took her out to dinner with her boyfriend and her dad. And I got out of the car, and I thought, boy, I can just walk in there by myself. And it was a gravel driveway. It was at the Olive Garden, and I was kind of staggering on that gravel driveway. I thought, my goodness, I can't walk on all kinds of surfaces. I need to do something about that next. As long as I'm walking on a flat floor, I'm fine. But on gravel, I couldn't do it. So that had to be worked into my routine somehow. I was going to have to figure that out. And so I did. What I did was go home and I put my slippers on. I didn't wear shoes. I put my slippers on and walked, because it's a little bit harder to walk in slippers than it is in shoes. And that kind of helped me to manage my feet a little bit better and help me get the rhythm of walking with my feet. So, and again, the neuroplasticity in my brain is responsible for all of this. I had to learn how to make my brain work so I could do things that would bring me back from that stroke. And you have to rely on your brain. Your brain is important. So this I did, and I'm very happy that I was able to do this, but it took persistence. It took a lot of persistence, and it took a lot of want to. And, you can't give up. You can't say, well, I'm going to take a day off, and then I'll do it again. There are no days off. There are no days off. You have to persistently every day. You can have some days where you may only want to do this for 10 minutes. Some days maybe you only want to do it for 5. Other days you'll do it for 20. But between getting up, fixing my own breakfast, having my exercises, where I exercise my feet, or I walk backwards up and down from the fireplace to the front door, sat in my chair, exercised my feet, took a little nap, sat at the computer, did a little solitaire. While I'm sitting at the computer, I used my EMS pad and my stocking feet with my compression socks on. Every time I sat at the computer, I used my EMS pad. I put those two together. And that helped get rid of the neuropathy. So I had to make my own plan to recover. And it was that simple. My diet was part of that plan. My exercises, my routines, they were all part of that plan. But they worked. And I'm here. And I can do everything like I could before the stroke. And I am thrilled to death about it. I am living proof that you can take control of your own health care. When I went to a provider finally, I found a provider, and I went to a provider, and she said I was doing wonderfully. Took me off of medication, and I felt pretty good. Coming out of that provider's office, I felt really good. I felt like I had won. I had overcome a horrible, horrible crisis. So stay with me, because now we're going to talk about what comes next. What happens next? I had to get cataract surgery next, and I'm going to talk about the atrocities that happened with that. Stay with me.